Okay, let's be real for a sec. Interviews are rough. Like, seriously, it doesn't matter if you've been doing this for years or you're fresh out of school. There's always that fear, right? You know, that voice in your head saying, what if I freeze up? But what if I told you there's a way to walk into any interview feeling like you totally got this?
And we're not talking about some magic trick here. We're talking about using AI to your advantage.
Yeah. Using ChatGPT to completely change how you prep for interviews. And trust me, I get it. It sounds a little out there. I was a total skeptic, like ChatGPT for interviews, really? But then I found this article, How to Ace Any Interview with ChatGPT, a step-by-step practical guide.
It's a game changer.
Right. And the author, Srinidhi Ranganathan, they've got this 10-step strategy that's super practical, and we're going to break down the most useful ones and, toss in our own thoughts too.
Consider this your cheat code for acing interviews.
I like that. Cheat code for interviews. I'm into it. All right. So first up, research. We all know it's important, but ChatGPT takes it to a whole new level.
It's not just knowing what they do. It's about understanding why they do it.
So I shouldn't just be reciting facts. I should be trying to connect with the interviewer on a deeper level. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Think about it. You're interviewing for a marketing position and you just casually mention a recent campaign they did, but you pick up on something most people wouldn't, like how they used a specific social media platform to reach a certain group of people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like I'm not just repeating stuff I read. I'm actually paying attention. Right. Analyzing their moves.
Exactly. You're showing real interest, not just surface level stuff.
Okay, so how does ChatGPT actually help me do that?
Imagine a super smart research assistant who can gather info from a ton of places instantly. You tell ChatGPT what job and company, and bam, it gives you a summary of their background, recent news, even key stuff about the role.
So it's like having a personalized cheat sheet, but without spending hours searching online myself.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really cool. The article suggests using ChatGPT to come up with common interview questions, but tailored to the specific job you want.
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of getting those generic, tell me about your strengths questions, I'm getting questions actually related to the job, more specific.
Exactly. And this is where ChatGPT really shines. See, it's not just helping you get ready for what you think they'll ask. It helps you understand why they're asking those questions in the first place.
Why? What do you mean?
Most people, they just focus on their own experiences when answering, which is important. But ChatGPT helps you figure out what the interviewer is really thinking.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Give me an example.
Let's say they ask about a time you messed up. Most people would just jump into telling a story, right? But with ChatGPT, you can go deeper. Ask, what are they really trying to figure out about me with this question?
They probably want to know how I deal with setbacks, how we learn from mistakes, maybe even how self-aware I am.
Exactly. So instead of just telling a story, you're answering in a way that shows them those skills and qualities they're looking for.
That's such a good point. It's like ChatGPT is helping me crack the interview code or something. But it doesn't stop there, does it? The article also mentions using ChatGPT to actually help write your answers.
And that's where people get a little, nervous. They think it's like cheating. But it's not about memorizing pre-written answers. It's about using ChatGPT to help you brainstorm, bounce ideas around.
Okay, so it's more like having a really smart friend helping me come up with ideas and make my pitch better.
Exactly. And what's really great is that ChatGPT is really good at tailoring its responses based on what you tell it. That's like pure gold.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
Let's say you're struggling with a question about leadership, right? Instead of giving you some generic answer, you can give ChatGPT some background about your own leadership style, maybe a specific time you showed leadership, and it'll create a response that fits your experience.
So it's like having a personalized interview coach who adapts to my strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. It helps you sound more like you, not replace you.
Okay, good. Because the last thing I want is to sound like a robot in an interview. All right, so we've talked about researching the company and even using ChatGPT to craft your answers. But what about the technical stuff? Those questions that pop up even if you're not interviewing for a tech job, I'll be honest, those always kind of throw me off.
Totally. Tech stuff can feel like a foreign language.
Yeah.
But good news is, ChatGPT can be your translator.
Wait, for real? I mean, yeah, it can explain things, but can it make it simple? Explain it to me like I barely passed high school physics, because I did.
Think of ChatGPT like that friend who's really good at explaining things. The one who never gets tired of explaining it in different ways until you get it.
Okay, yeah, that's a much better image than what I had in my head. So how does that actually work? during an interview?
Let's say you're going for a marketing job and they start asking about SEO or data analytics. Don't panic, right? Prep beforehand. You can literally tell ChatGPT, explain SEO to me like I'm 5. Or, what are the most important data analytics concepts for this marketing job?
And it gets that specific.
Seriously, you'd be surprised. I once used it to explain blockchain to my grandma, the one who still uses checks for everything. It explained it like a shared diary that everyone could see, which honestly blew her mind.
Okay, that's pretty wild. But it's not just about understanding those things, right? It's about using what you learned in the interview.
Exactly. Imagine this. You answer a tech question perfectly, right? Then you connect it back to the company's goals or even suggest a way they could do things better. Talk about making an impression.
Okay, now I'm seeing how this changes everything. It's like ChatGPT gives me the guts to not just survive those questions, but totally own them. Turn a weakness into a strength.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about.
So we've got research, crafting answers, tackling tech questions. What else is there?
This next one, it's super important. People always forget it. Prepare some good questions to ask the interviewer.
Ugh. Yeah, I always blank on those at the end. Like I used up all my good questions already.
It's so easy to just ask those generic questions just to say something, But this is where you turn the tables. You're not just being interviewed. You're part of the conversation.
Okay, I like that. How does ChatGPT help me do that?
Think about it. You're interviewing them too, right? You want to know if this company, this team, is right for you.
Oh, yeah, good point. I always forget that part.
ChatGPT can help you take those questions to the next level. Remember all that research we talked about?
Yeah, the super smart research assistant thing.
Use that info to come up with questions that show them you did your homework. You're not just asking, you're showing them you're genuinely curious about what they're doing.
So instead of, what's the company culture like, which is vague, I could say, I read you're expanding into new markets. How's that changing your overall strategy?
Boom. You're not just asking, you're starting a conversation. You're showing them you're already thinking strategically, like you're part of the team.
Yeah, like I'm already in their head.
Exactly. Here's another one. Use ChatGPT to brainstorm questions that connect your skills to what they need.
Okay, example time.
Let's say you're up for a project manager role and find out they're using a new software system. You could ask, I've managed software implementations before. What challenges are you facing? And how do you see this role helping you succeed?
Wow, so much better than just, what software do you use?
Right. It shows you're a go-getter, a problem solver. You're already thinking about how you can make a difference.
Okay, that's seriously smart. Adding that to my list. Now, how about something less fun but so important? Mock interviews. Ugh, just the thought of them stresses me out.
I get it, they can feel super awkward, but honestly, they're crucial. It helps you fine-tune how you say things, your timing, even your body language.
And this is where ChatGPT swoops in as the ultimate mock interviewer.
You got it. Remember how it tailors its responses to what you say?
Yeah, like the personalized coach thing.
Exactly. You can literally set up a mock interview with ChatGPT.
Gotta.
Chat what to ask you.
Yeah.
Behavioral questions, technical stuff, even those weird curveball questions interviewers love.
Wait, seriously, so I don't even need to find a real person?
Not necessarily. ChatGPT can be your test subject. Practice as much as you want without feeling self-conscious.
So this is where practicing out loud is key, right?
100%. It's one thing to think through your answers in your head, but saying them out loud, it helps you hear if something sounds weird or if you're rambling.
Oh, I am so guilty of rambling when I'm nervous.
It happens. That's what's great about practicing with ChatGPT. It's a safe space. Experiment, mess up, find your groove without any judgment.
A judgment-free zone to work out the kinks? I can get behind that. Okay, we've covered a lot today. Deep dive research, AI mock interviews. It's like ChatGPT is the ultimate interview sidekick. But this whole thing has got me thinking.
What's on your mind?
Well, if everyone starts using ChatGPT to prep for interviews, won't we all end up sounding the same?
Yeah.
Like just a bunch of interview robots, spitting out the same perfect answers.
That's a really interesting question, and it gets to the core of what makes someone stand out in an interview. Remember, ChatGPT is a tool. It's like a starting point. The real magic is when you take what it gives you and make it your own.
So it's not about pretending to be someone I'm not. It's using ChatGPT to, highlight my own style and experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like two musicians can play the same song on the same guitar, but it's how they play it, their own interpretation, that makes it special.
I love that analogy. So ChatGPT is like the sheet music, but I'm the one who brings the feeling, the energy.
Exactly. That's what no AI can ever replace. Your personality, your passion, your own story, that's what makes you stand out.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So for our listeners out there who are feeling a little overwhelmed, like where do they even start? What would you say?
Just dive in. Start playing with ChatGPT, get a feel for it. It's like learning anything new. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
And don't be afraid to experiment a little, right? That's the whole point of this tool, to try different things, see what works best for you.
Absolutely. And here's a pro tip. Don't be vague with your requests. The more specific you are with ChatGPT, the better its answers will be.
So instead of just asking, how do I get ready for an interview? I could say something like, I have an interview for a marketing coordinator position at a tech startup. What kind of questions could they ask, and how can I tailor my answers to show off my creative side and my passion for tech?
Now you're talking. The more info you give ChatGPT, the more it becomes your own personal interview coach. It helps you craft answers that really click with the company and the role you're going for.
So to wrap things up, it sounds like ChatGPT isn't just some fancy tech thing. It's a serious tool that can help anyone, no matter your background, to feel more confident and ready to nail their next interview.
More than just being prepared, it's about being excited about interviews, seeing them as a chance to show off your skills and have a real conversation about how you can contribute.
I love that. So to all our listeners out there, if you're tired of the same old interview advice and ready to step up your game, give ChatGPT a shot. You might be surprised by what you can achieve with a little help from AI. And hey, let us know how it goes. We want to hear your ChatGPT interview success stories. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.